Hey there, teachers. Welcome to yet another Techie T-Bird tutorial. This is a good one. We're going to go over in a very brief fashion the mClass software for those who are using that for progress monitoring rather than having to deal with the paper booklets and uploading the numbers. I have our wonderful reading coach here at Truman Elementary, Mrs. Shields, who's going to progress monitor an outstanding second grade student. We'll actually go through and show that, and then we will give a little bit of extra information at the end. This is the DORF, the Dibbles Oral Reading Fluency Test. It's the most common amongst all the grade levels, and we'll have other tutorials for some of those other Dibbles tests. But let's demonstrate a DORF progress monitoring with the mClass software.
Okay, so you want to get to your start screen with your student list here and find your student's name. And just click on the name. You want to choose progress monitoring. And from here we're going to do the DORF, so we'll leave that alone and just click Assess. She's going to be using Story 1, so we'll stick with Form 1 on here. Alright, I would like you to read a story to me. Please do your best reading. If you do not know a word, I will read the word for you. Keep reading until I say stop. Be ready to tell me all about the story when you finish. Put your finger under the first word. Ready? Begin.
What do you do when you go to a playground? Maybe you run as quickly as you can to an empty swing. Hop in and soar to the sky. All children like to play and do fun things. There are lots of different ways to have fun. Matthew is a teenager who uses a wheelchair as he wanted to have fun. Some cool things for the playground that all children could use, so he did something about it. When he was only 6 years old, Matthew had a great idea. He thought of a swing that all kids could use.
You can stop there. You just want to press and hold the last word that the reader said and click Done. Now tell me as much as you can about the story you just read.
Matthew was a teenager and when he was 6 years old, he had a great idea. He thought swing.
Can you tell me anything more about the story? Thank you very much. You just want to assess the quality of the retell and then click Done.
Mrs. Shields, just tell us a couple of the different features of what teachers need to do on touching the screen during the DORF. I saw you do them. Sometimes it went green, sometimes it went red. How do you actually maneuver that?
If they read the word incorrectly, you just tap it once and it'll turn red. If they go back and self-correct or fix it, then you tap it a second time and it turns green. If you happen to make a mistake, just tap it a third time and it'll turn white.
So it toggles between each one of those.
Yes.
And you set it there at the end, but when that timer goes, there's kind of a 5 seconds of yellow to let you know it's coming up.
Yes.
It ends, and then you stopped her. How do you mark that finish line?
Whatever word she finished on, you just press and hold that word until the bracket appears.
Perfect. Jumping to the retell really quickly, tell us a little bit how you actually use that feature on the mClass to do the retell count.
The retell count, you have to be careful because you want whatever the child says, it should be about the story. You don't want to include things like or anything outside of what the story
One day my
said.
grandpa and I went camping.
Right.
So you leave that
You
out, huh?
want to leave that part out. I did give her a little bit more than 3 seconds. She was I think she was nervous with all of the adults in here.
And a video camera.
And the video camera right in her ear, so I kind of gave her a little bit more time. But you would know with your student about 3 seconds. When they don't have anything else to say, you can click the 3-second button, and it'll prompt you to ask them if they can say anything more. And then if they do, you just continue tapping. If they don't, you just hit the 5-second button, and then they're done.
And then, it, of course, is an assessment from the teacher at the end if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 on the quality. And it
Right.
gives a little description of what those mean. 2 or more details in a meaningful sequence, and so forth.
And just do your professional judgment.
Wonderful. And we can see it also works if you happen to have incoming emails during the test or alerts. Still, it worked.
Get past it.
Thank you, Mrs. Shields.